Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the 1984 film Amadeus, directed by Miloš Forman. So I saw Amadeus the day after I had seen Maestro. This was a bit of a coincidence. It wasn't planned that I'd watch two films about two composers in 2 days. They made a very interesting comparison, however. Whereas I think that Maestro somewhat sells Leonard Bernstein's music short, as I outline in a separate review, I feel that Amadeus really showcases Mozart's music in a compelling and really creative way. Amadeus explores the life and music of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and at the heart of the film is this tension-filled relationship between Mozart and his contemporary Antonio Salieri, portrayed with a fantastic intensity by F. Murray Abraham. The film is peppered with significant Mozart musical pieces, most notably the dramatic music from the Commendatore scene in Mozart's opera Don Giovanni. This choice is not merely incidental, but it serves as a thematic echo to the tumultuous dynamic between Mozart and his father Leopold and Salieri. The Commendatore scene is loaded with themes of judgment and retribution, and it mirrors the psychological and emotional turbulence experienced by the characters, especially Salieri, who grapples with his mediocrity in the face of Mozart's genius. I saw this film at the cinema when it first came out. I was in my very early 20s and it absolutely blew me away, particularly the Commendatore scene, which is still amongst my favourite dramatic scenes in cinema history. It got me started listening to opera and it left a big impact on me, and this was still the case watching it this time almost 40 years later. Mozart's music is indeed the pulsating heart of Amadeus. In this way alone, I found it so much more satisfying than Maestro, which I thought almost used Bernstein's music as the soundtrack to the film. Amadeus's approach to incorporating Mozart's work is astounding. I think that it doesn't just leave us as a passive listener, rather it takes us into the very process of creation. Scenes where Mozart feverishly composes, or while Salieri reads through Mozart's scores, hearing the music in his head, are so powerful. They capture the awe, the complexity, and the emotional spectrum in Mozart's work. These moments are juxtaposed with Salieri's growing jealousy and hatred. There's an incredible scene at the end of the film where we see Mozart and Salieri working together on the Requiem Mass. It's such a wonderful scene. Mozart is sick and can't write, so Salieri writes the music down as Mozart dictates. Salieri almost can't keep up with the genius at work, but does almost become a collaborator. Even though he's not quite as talented as Mozart, this is two passionate composers working together to create something as extraordinary as the Requiem Mass. It's a truly remarkable scene. The film's narrative structure is ingenious, I think. It intertwines Mozart's personal life and his musical compositions. And by doing so, Amadeus not only informs us about Mozart's work, but also contextualizes his music with his life experiences and the broader social and cultural landscape of the time. This interweaving of biography and music makes Amadeus more than just a film. It becomes a rich, multi-layered tapestry that celebrates and critiques the life of one of history's greatest composers. One point that does bother me slightly is the portrayal of Mozart himself. While Tom Hulce delivers a performance that absolutely captures Mozart's eccentricities, this film often exaggerates these traits and I think sometimes veers into caricature. Mozart is portrayed as irreverent and immature, which is okay in itself, but it so often drifts into clownish behaviour, which just feels out of place in this film. It arguably diminishes the gravitas and complexity of the real Mozart. It prompts those questions around historical accuracy versus artistic license in biographical storytelling. While this portrayal perhaps makes Mozart more relatable to a modern audience, almost punk-like, it also risks oversimplifying a profoundly complex character. Of course, we don't know what Mozart was really like, so it is possible that this is an accurate portrayal. I did read one comment that said that the film is narrated through the memory of Salieri, therefore it's Salieri's perception of Mozart that we're seeing. I hadn't thought of this, and it kind of makes it better. It makes sense that Salieri might exaggerate Mozart's characteristics. I'm still not sure that they had to make Mozart such a clown, but I don't think it ruins the film. In conclusion, Amadeus is a fantastic film that resonates with emotional depth, historical insight, and musical genius. It's a portrayal of Mozart and Salieri's rivalry, set against the backdrop of some of the most stirring music ever composed. It's a real cinematic treat. The film really excels in bringing Mozart's music to life, not just as a score, but as an active, living component of the narrative. It's a film that not only entertains and brings Mozart's music to life, it reflects on the nature of talent, envy, and the human condition as expressed through the language of music. I couldn't recommend this film more highly. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.